Hi, I'm Philip, your host today. We are shining a light on the LGBTQ plus community. My guest today is Christie Carter. Christie, please tell our viewers a little about yourself and what you do.
Thanks, Philip. I am the Aging and Disability Coordinator here at the Milwaukee LGBT Center. I provide services to LGBT older adults and folks with disabilities, and I've always been an advocate, and I do identify both as part of the LGBT community, and I also have a disability. I have cerebral palsy, but that doesn't stop me from being an advocate, working, and helping other people find their voices. I just wanted to let everybody know that 40% of the LGBT population have disabilities. So my thing is we're out there, we exist. We may be your friend, your sister, your brother, your neighbor.
June is LGBTQ plus Pride Month. Can you explain what those letters stand for?
The L in the acronym stands for lesbian. And what that means is it's women who are sexually attracted to other women. The G is gay. So it's men who are sexually attracted to other men. And then B stands for bi. And that's folks that are attracted to both males and females. And then T stands for transgender. What that means is their sex assigned at birth does not match how they feel or how they identify. So they may have been born a boy, but they feel more like a girl. So now in their work and in the community, they present that way. Q can stand for questioning, or people that kind of want to explore or unsure of their sexual orientation or gender identity. And Q can stand for queer, which to older adults, when you use that word, it can be seen as a negative word, and people were called to that in a negative way. Now, the youth kind of took back that word and turned it into a positive. So a lot of youth today identify themselves not as gay, but as queer. So you want to make sure that when you're using that word, that you're also aware of who are you using it with. And then a plus, basically it just means that if you are on the spectrum of LGBTQ or somewhere in between, that we're here for you, that we accept you, and that it's okay. Terms that you use when talking about people that are LGBT are always changing, much like the disability community. So it's okay not to know all of the words, and it's okay to ask about the terms.
What are some of the barriers for people with disabilities who identify as LGBTQ plus?
I have an LGBTQ plus disability support group, and a lot of times during the group, we talk about this. Sometimes when people are dealing with doctors, they struggle a little bit more because sometimes doctors might not understand different things related to disability. Well, you add the layer of LGBTQ and it just adds another barrier that people face. Some doctors and medical professionals might not think of people with disabilities as sexual beings or people that can be in relationships. And so a lot of the people in the group talk about that, dealing with doctors and kind of the extra layers that you have to kind of go through when you're LGBT and disabled. Another thing that we talk about in group all the time. So marriage equality passed in 2015. And a lot of people, myself included in the disability group, we were excited, but some people, if you have a partner and you get married, you lose your benefits. or you lose your health insurance. And so that was a frustration and a barrier. It makes people sometimes feel that they're not being seen or their whole person isn't being validated. Another one that folks have mentioned that I get calls about this all the time from different organizations that want to provide care to people or people that need personal care. They're like, I'm looking for an LGBT affirming provider to, provide me personal care, or how do I do that? And more things need to be done so that people feel safe and that they can be themselves when getting care and accessing care. Because if you don't feel comfortable with the people that are taking care of you, you're not going to be able to be your true self, and you're kind of going to want to go in the closet. And when we talk about going in the closet as an LGBT person, that means hiding or feeling like you can't share your true self.
I know people sometimes will wonder if like this person's gay. Is it ever okay to like ask someone?
I guess that depends on who you're asking. If it's a friend, a family member, or just someone that you casually know, they have to want to feel comfortable sharing that with you. People are going to feel more comfortable to share if you're an ally, which means somebody that supports them. And to be an ally, it's not just to say, oh yeah, I'm an ally, I have a friend or an uncle or a neighbor that I know that it's LGBT, but maybe to advocate for them or to listen to them or to be there to support them. And if they trust you and if you've built that relationship, then hopefully they will. But being LGBT, it's a big piece of a person's identity, but it's a piece, just like having a disability is a piece of who I am.
Can you talk about mental health?
LGBTQ plus people with disabilities face many difficulties related to mental health because of discrimination they faced, maybe in schools or related to doctors, related to housing, all of that discrimination. It can really weigh on people, but it's also okay to ask for help, whether it be to reach out to a family member, a friend, or to get help from a counselor.
If you are a person with a disability and are struggling with your identity, what should you do?
There are different pride organizations that are throughout Wisconsin and other areas. At the center, we have counseling available for people. There's support groups. I do call-in check-ins to folks to just see how they're doing. We have virtual social activities and also educational sessions on different topics and trainings. I work collaboratively with SAGE, which is the National Organization for LGBT Elders. They have a lot of resources for older adults and then people with disabilities. And there's some fact sheets related specifically to folks with disabilities.
We will provide a list of these resources in the information section below. Is there anything that you would like to say to the self-advocates watching?
I know June is Pride Month, and that's great, and I love being on here, but remember that you can be an ally or a supporter, an active supporter for people that are LGBT other months of the year, that we're still here before June, after June, and anywhere in between. But I don't want anybody to feel like they're alone.
Thank you, Christie, for being our guest. I enjoyed talking with you.
You're welcome. I appreciate it. And keep advocating. Everybody keep advocating and sharing your stories and lifting your voices. Thanks, Philip.
Thank you, self advocates. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. We need your support. So please subscribe to the channel.